Hi, Gloria with Healing You. Did you know that the horse is the totem animal for power? And when you reflect on power, what are all the different energies that you have around it? There's grace, balanced, soft, strength, sensitive, listens, and wisdom are what spring to my mind as I reflect on power that's life serving. Whereas doubting, dominant, and force, those spring to mind reflecting on power that does not serve life well. As a power animal, horse is primarily a message carrier and often supports people to traverse gateways in their lives, magical gateways. They're connected with the power and responsibility that comes from exercising authority and the wisdom necessary to utilize it in a balanced way. On an emotional level, horse is connected with the beauty of the need for compassionate understanding. The third chakra is the personal power chakra. When the fear base is triggered in the human nervous system, the energy can oscillate into the militant archetype. And that's the branch in the nervous system for fight, flight, for survival. And that may show up as, well, it's all about me, ego, dominant, self-righteous, and control force energy. Or it can oscillate into the subservient archetype, which would be more the dorsal vagus, the flee for survival. And that may show up as the outer environment influences the inner environment. So being a slave to reality, you serve others to a fault, a loss of authenticity, low sense of value, living in shame, and quite an energy loss. The free state can be activated when both the militant and the subservient archetypes simultaneously flood the nervous system. It's like having the gas and the brakes of your vehicle held down to the floor at the same time. So balanced third chakra energy rests in the warrior archetype. And that's the ventral vagus, which is our social engagement system, which can show up as the power to be in full choice, knowing self, assertive, truth, integrity, inner freedom, and holding space for the good of all. So let me tell you a story. It was a few years back. As I prepared to step into an active session with horse, my coach invited me to face the horses in the arena, to bring my awareness to my breath, and to take 3 deep breaths through my nose and exhale through my mouth. And she said, as you bring your awareness to the moment and your eyes gaze upon your horses, open your senses. Where are you in your body? What sensations do you notice? What do you hear? What do you smell? What are you noticing on your skin or your hair? And keeping your eyes on your horses as you stay in the present moment, what do you most want to step into at this time in your life? I said, I want to step into the arena fully present with myself. She asked, would you be willing to allow this arena and these horses to guide you to your desire? Yeah, I was. She queried further, what authentic voice would support you in this process? Listening to my core, I acknowledged with confidence, I trust myself now. She reflected back, I trust myself now. Take a breath as you embody the energy of your authentic voice. Are you ready to honor yourself and your horses at this time? I nodded agreement. So keeping your eyes on your horses, repeat these statements out loud as you extend your heart's energy out to your horses. May you have good health. May you share your wisdom. May you receive love, honor, and respect. May I have good health. May I receive your wisdom. May I experience love, honor, and respect. And pausing for a moment, she continued, Now take another 3 deep breaths and imagine that these beautiful horses in this arena is the energy you desire. What would you most like your horses to teach you today? I thought about that for a moment. I said, I would like them to teach me how to remain fully present with the different parts of myself. What might that look like with the horses, and which horse represents the different archetypes of the power chakra? She asked that with curiosity. Well, the 3 horses represent the parts of myself, the archetypes of power. Diva represents the militant, Moon represents the subservient, and Cora represents the warrior. I slowed and scanned the arena. I will move 1 horse to stand by the fence in the middle shadowy space. And what might that give you, she asked. It will mean I'm centered and balanced, I replied with a smile. I stepped into the arena and I picked up a stick and string tool. And with a mindful intention, I moved out to the right to approach the 3 horses that grazed on the far side of the arena. Mindfully, I took deep belly breaths and I whispered out loud my authentic voice. I trust myself now. I trust myself now. And I visualized trust energy flowing freely throughout my being as I opened to receive a felt sense of each horse. My belly felt open and soft with Moon, who stood in the middle of the 3 horses. Spontaneously, I set a new intention to rescue little me, represented by Moon, for him to experience a cellular shift of energy, transforming subservient me to empowered to be me in my core. As I deliberately placed my 3rd chakra energy behind Moon's left shoulder, my right hand flicked the stick and string, while my left opened the door to invite him forward. Cora stood calm and grazing. Flicking the stick and string with more energy, I clicked my tongue. And as Moon slowly moved out to the left, Diva's energy suddenly got bigger. She quickly pivoted to the left and trotted down the arena with Moon trailing behind her. I noticed her militant energy did not disconnect me from Moon, or Moon from me. I noticed his ears moved back and forth, listening to Diva, and then back to me, back and forth, and then more back, listening to me. I felt a strong alignment energetically with him, my subservient self, as I, from my compassionate observer self, combined utilizing driving and dancing steps, connecting with him, moving down and around one end of the arena. He stopped near the chosen central spot, and I moved closer and pushed on his left eye energetically. But he stood still. Checking in with my core, I felt curious. What would you like to have happen? My coach asked from outside the arena. I would like him to move closer to the shadowed space by the fence. And what might you do differently to invite the movement that you would like? I observed his position, and I chose to move around him to his right side. And with my eyes focused intentionally on his hindquarters, I leaned my torso over into a forward stance, and he disengaged his hindquarters to face me. Energetically, I invited him forward, and he followed me. My belly opened up soft with utter delight and acceptance, with euphoria. And then he stopped while he licked and he chewed with his mouth. Breathing into my sensations while my coach processed my experience with me, Moon moved his head to my solar plexus, and then he stepped forward until I was positioned at his left shoulder, which symbolized to me protection of my vulnerability, being seen by others in the program. I was invited to drop into my body, and I noticed my lips were trembling and my throat was tight. As I caressed Moon's neck and withers, he moved to stand closer to me, and he raised his head, blocking my coach's view of me as well. And in that moment, the gift I received from Moon was acknowledgement that little me had really good reasons for choosing to be subservient. So don't make her wrong. She survived. Immediately, Moon bumped me gently with his head, and tears of gratitude sprang up behind my eyes, and I acknowledged needs met for protection, understanding, safety, trust. And there is a reason I experienced what I did. so I would have lots of compassion for others' trauma, and I could get it on a cellular level, remaining present and in relationship with others on their healing journeys. I looked over to the other two horses grazing, and I recognized in that moment that I'm all three: militant, subservient, and warrior, and how vital it is not to make any of them wrong, but rather to welcome, soothe, and accept each of them home. Moon turned his big head around and he looked deep into my eyes. Then he nodded his head and he turned and walked out to join the others to go back to grazing. I watched him in awe as a sense of completion washed over me. Feeling deeply moved, I walked across the arena to thank each horse individually and to acknowledge the tremendous gifts I received. I moved from left to right, first Diva, then Moon, and about 5 feet away as I approached the right side of Core, I suddenly felt his energy bubble, and I witnessed my right arm as it jerked back momentarily, and I stumbled. It was as if I had run into something and tripped. What was that all about? I asked myself with surprise and wonder. Checking inside, I noticed I felt absolutely no fear, only profound respect and awe, acknowledgement of pure warrior energy. As I reflect on this experience now, I recognize how Core represented my cellular shift, stepping from subservient energy into who I am now, at peace with my power, calm, strong, confident, clear, the veil of confusion dispelled. When I walked away from acknowledging and thanking Core that day, I could see brighter, clearer. I had more awareness of all of my senses. I saw the auras around the treetops. I heard insects' noises. My sense of smell, sound, touch, and temperature was heightened. Rather than being run by old critical mental thought loops that kept me small and experiencing emotions that powered over me, I noticed that mindfully living in my body, I am empowered to be and live in alignment with my personal power in full choice. I know myself anew. I am here now. I am home. I am back. And thank you. Thanks for being on this journey with me today, healing you.